Hey y'all, I'm going to show you a little thing I did for those that own a Clone GT or GTI. Uh, we all seem to have this Feedneck breakage I've been seeing a lot of, and including myself, I encountered a break on my own. As you can see, mine snapped, and from what I've seen around, most people they snap at the same spot right here, where it's kind of like the midpoint where they cut this. Happens tends to as you rotor, you dive hard, you hit your loader, it bends it back, and eventually what happens is it works its way and kind of just shears apart, as you can tell with my old feed neck here. I think what happens is when they mill this, they mill it too far forward, so what happens is it tends to bend much easier, and it gets to a point where it just can't sustain it and it just breaks off. What I've done was on my new feed neck that I've gotten, what I did was I added a little more steel putty to it. I filled in the gap a little more, but I did leave the gap towards the back end, the split, so when it clamps, it can still clamp nice and tight. But by doing this, what I did is I gave it some material, so if it does bend down, it'll hold it from bending downwards. Hopefully I'll prevent a little more of my feed neck from snapping. What I filled it up with is this material called quick steel. Essentially it's a putty that you mix, roll it together. Feels like clay putty. It's soft to begin with, and once you mix it, give it a little time. Usually I think mine's set in about less than an hour. It becomes really hard. Nice thing with it is you don't need a lot, just enough to kind of fill in the little groove in there. I didn't go too much, I just want to fill it enough so if it bends, like you can see here on this one where it bent, that it basically will support it from bending down and creating a stress point. And hopefully this will help me from breaking another one, because apparently getting these feed necks sometimes can be a kind of a long wait, especially if you have a camel anno, because it has to come all the way from Australia, from Macdev. I'm still waiting for my matching red one, so for the time being I picked up a black one just so I can at least still use my GTI. So you mix this stuff up, fill into this gap. I only went enough on the side profile. I didn't want to fill up all the way, because these are designed to pop off if you do take a hard hit instead of snapping your feed tube, which is fine. I just want to give you enough material so it doesn't bend like it did here. So the beauty of this stuff is it's nice and soft. You just essentially put enough in there, fill it up, smooth it out with your finger. It is like clay, and on the inside smooth it out so it doesn't get in the way of your hopper, which actually it doesn't, because this gap is actually below the lip where the hopper sits on anyway, so it's actually underneath your hopper, so it wouldn't get in the way. But just for a cleaner look, smooth out with your finger, smooth it out on the outside so it's flush like I did here. And I just touched it up, since this was black, I just touched it up with a little black paint, so you kind of can't really see the putty because the putty will dry gray exactly this color. So I'm going to test it out and use it and see how it goes. Hopefully this will help you.